Fire me then. I have free speech. This is a public entity. You want to go down that road. The opinions and views expressed in this video are of my own, nobody else's. I speak on behalf of no entity or no individual at all. Hey guys, Richard with Kansas Freedom News. First off, I want to apologize for the way I sound, but fighting a head cold and flu crap, I'm telling you, it hasn't been fun. I want to kind of give you an update a little bit about what's been going on. And unfortunately, sadly, I have to bring this, that it's been even my local government. So what I'd like to do is start with a YouTube channel. It's a fairly new YouTube channel, Rowdy Meyer. His channel name is, I believe it's Northeast Kansas Open Government. I'll have a link in the description of my video here. And I'd like some of my followers and subscribers to go over to his channel. Give him some likes, subscribe, some shares, guys. Give him a thumbs up, and let him know Kansas Freedom News sent you guys over there. Just show him some support and appreciation for being able to make these meetings and record them, because I was sick that day and could not make it. So thankfully he was able to make it and get all this that we're about to see on video. So we're going to start there. Start with some of his videos, and I'm not going to go into all of his videos or show the entire thing. I'm going to highlight certain aspects of it that I think I feel are important to address. And I want you to listen to the commissioner's excuse and reason for raising taxes. That is the number one key thing. And then we're going to highlight certain commissioners' attitude and actions, even define his own words at the very beginning. But let's take a look.
Main hearing. The purpose of this hearing is for us to listen and to answer objections of taxpayers relating to revenue-neutral rates and the proposed tax rate, as required by Kansas Statute 79-2988. This first portion of this meeting will be to talk about the mill levy only. If you have budget questions, those will be asked in the next portion of this hearing. With that, Commissioner Pruett has a couple comments.
Yeah, guys, we ask you to be respectful to each other, please. And no outbursts. If there are outbursts, we'll ask you to leave. This is strictly for information purposes, and the only way that we can get information across to everybody is if everybody's respectful to each other. Okay, we really ask that. And the time limits that you're going to be speaking in, we got a lot of people to get through. They're going to be 3-minute time limits. Okay? And Mary up here will be keeping time. She will announce 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, and then she'll say time. And we ask you please to, if you got a sentence or two left, fine. But if you got 2 pages left, we're going to ask you to please, yield the floor and go back to your seat. Okay? Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Mark. A lot of cash on hand that we were able to use to cover some of these expenses, and I don't have to go through the list of expenses that have gone up from gravel, in 3.5 years, it's gone from $13 a ton to over $19 a ton. It's just those types of things, and so for us, it's trying to figure out how do we strategically use that cash on hand without going too far below, because as a county, we're required to keep enough cash on hand. If something would happen, we can pay bills over a 6-month period. And not having to raise taxes any more than had to be. So that was one of the things. The increase this year, the $384,000 or $85,000 that Scott talked about, the increase of that is an evaluation and the .05 increase in the mill, that dollar amount is covering just the raises for county employees. We gave all of our county employees across the board this year a 4%, or not this year, but it will take effect in January, a 4% cost of living allowance. What I'd like for you to understand about that is, for years, county employees did not get raises, or they got very little raises. And it's been our goal, because to bring that up to a living wage where our men and women who work here can say they appreciate and like working for the county, but make money too. I mean, they struggle just like everybody else. And so the biggest part of that is retaining employees. In January of this year was the first time in 3 years that we were fully staffed in our road and bridge department. We've lost a couple of people, but we were training employees, and they were leaving to go to Bettis, or they were leaving to go to Hams, or they were going anywhere. Same with Sheriff Morris back here. He would get men and women trained up, and they would leave for a better job at another agency because this county didn't pay very well. Now we're trying to get that in place where these employees, once we get them trained and they get into a job, they don't want to leave. They want to stay here because of the benefits, because of the pay. I think most of you would agree that if you put a couple years training into an employee, getting a CDL, getting certified as law enforcement, whatever that may be, the court system, whatever it is, and they leave after 2 years, you're just wasting money. And so that's what we've tried to do.
Now, did you just hear what Mr. Kelly just said? 4% raise starting, what did you say, January 2025? I want you to try to make this make sense to me. Make this make sense to me. 4% raise. That's roughly $1. That's only $1. Now, you've got hundreds of people in this room already pissed off because their taxes are going up. And you want to paint a bigger target on our back for $1? That won't even cover taxes. I want you taxpayers to understand and think this logically. $1, 4%, is the reason he gave for raising taxes. As a taxpayer and landowner myself, that kind of pisses me off. It's just an excuse. And notice the cost of living. Well, the cost of living has been going up since when? Years. And again, it's not that I'm not appreciative. I just think it's a bullshit excuse, if you want my honest opinion. And
John, you can speak first.
So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remind you guys.
Okay.
Later on, I probably have something different to say.
Okay.
I'm going to remind you, this is House of Representatives. We the people tell you we don't want our taxes raised. You can't raise them. If you do, you can have your bonds. I know your own law. You don't want that.
Thank you. Next.
So I just want to talk a little bit about what it feels like when you open that tax document and you see this increase. But before we get that, it hits the headlines that our assessed valuations are increasing at 5.6 mil. And then we look at it and we see $389, I think, approximately thousand that you're getting to the base of your budget. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That, that goes up. But then when it turned around, we got the second mill increase. That's when I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Usually they don't both rise at the same time. Usually your mill will stay down, your valuations go up, or vice versa. But never do we see them normally trend upward at the same time. Jackson County happens to be getting hit pretty hefty with taxes. tell me a little bit about what was the raise that your employees got? Because first of all, I want to also make clear to everyone, I am not against the hardworking person getting a raise. That's not what I'm saying here today. So please know that. I am all for these county employees getting paid well. Okay, but what was their increase last budget?
15%.
Oh,
15%.
wait a minute.
Please, Katrina's got the floor.
So
Okay.
15%
That is correct.
plus
Plus what?
$1. $1. You gave them $1, plus you gave them 15% on top of that increase. Okay? So it's printed in the paper. I have the documents. I'm happy to share.
Okay.
Okay? I know my time is limited, so I'm trying to talk fast. And then this year, what is the increase for them?
4%.
4%. And then what was the increase in my taxes and valuation this year? Approximately. What was that percentage?
You mean a mill?
No, do you know what the percentage increase we got increased? The average? The average? Okay.
Average.
It's about 4%, okay? It was about 4%. But bottom line is, I want to see you take those monies without raising our mill and figure out a way that we can pay for these county employees if you so choose that you think they're willing to, and I'm all for it. But please don't ask us, the taxpayers. There are other avenues to do this, whether we cut. If I'm at home, I cut my budget too. I do without that new car. I do without something. I don't go to the credit cards. Okay, so I'm asking you to find places in your budget to reduce it so we don't have this happen. We want to live here. We love this community. But you're making it real hard for us to keep staying here and for people to want to come. We need to grow. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I do.
You want my honest opinion? That woman deserved a standing ovation. But I want to kind of go over what she was saying. Last year, well, beginning of January 2024, so I guess beginning of this year, we got a 15% raise. And I kind of want to go over that raise. Because, let me get out of the sun here. That raise, I feel, was well worth it. It was a dire need for the county. And I'll explain. We were losing employees like crazy. Employees were leaving and going to other entities and other places for better pay. 2023, we were only making anywhere between 14, 15 to maybe 17 bucks an hour, while every other entity around us was paying 20-something bucks an hour. So people were putting in their 2 weeks and leaving. Nobody would apply, and we had vacancies. We were low on employees. So that 15% raise brought us up to be competitive with all the local counties and entities that were paying roughly the same thing now, 20-something bucks an hour. So the 15%, I give credit, and I will support the commissioners for that decision. I will support the commissioners for that decision because that kept employees from leaving. Because at that time, we had 6 other employees getting ready to walk out the door.
I would like to invite everybody to take a look at the website. I'll post it on Jackson County PPA on the Facebook.
Matt,
Mr. Luke?
Matt?
Yes.
if you have a question, we're asking.
I'm getting to my question laying the groundwork for you.
You're not here to advertise your whatever.
Okay.
Ask
Are you going to tell me to shut up like you did in the last meeting?
I didn't tell you to shut up.
Oh, it's on video.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay. So the other counties around us, as Rick Luke pointed out, have much lower budgets than we do and are getting by just fine. And I don't want to hear about this, okay? We're talk about this. But at the end of the day, you're saying that this tax increase is the biggest pay raise. I would ask for you guys to explain to all these fine people here. And by the way, I support that county workers should get a pay raise. But why are you doing it across the board instead of based on merit? Because I promise you, there are people who work for the county who deserve a pay raise based on doing a good job. And there's some people that maybe don't. And if they don't stay here and they go to work for someone else, so be it. There's a particular county employee that told me that he felt like they're better off having a handful of good employees than a whole bunch of bad employees. I tend to agree with that person. That's all. So please explain to us why you're not doing it based on merit.
Because we don't feel the fairness fair, because who's gonna judge? Okay.
If I can be fair and honest here, I'm gonna have to say that that behavior from that commissioner disgusts the hell out of me. I find it very unprofessional and childish. Because what did he say at the very beginning of this meeting? Let's take a listen.
Guys, we ask you to be respectful to each other, please. And no outbursts. If there are outbursts, we'll ask you to leave.
Well, there you have it. The commissioner, by no surprise, really, as long as I've been dealing with government, I would love to say I am shocked and surprised that a government official acted this way, but I'm not. I'm not shocked or surprised. But because it is one of my commissioners, I find it very disgusting, very childish, very unprofessional, and I hope his constituents remember this crap at his next election, because it's very unprofessional. So, to try to keep this video from getting almost 2 hours long, I'm going to cut that off here on that meeting. And like I said, the link to that full video will be down in the description. Northeast Kansas Open Government, Rowdy Myers YouTube channel. Go over and hit the like, subscribe, share. So let him know Kansas Freedom News sent you guys over there. And let him know that we appreciate the fact that he recorded these meetings. And you can watch the full video. There's many more people speaking that are unhappy with this raising of the taxes. And I don't know that they're buying the whole crap of it's because we're getting a $1 raise, a 4% raise. But me personally feel like it's just an excuse. Paying a larger target on our back, basically, is what they did. But we're going to get into a Facebook post that a gentleman named Indiana Mike shared this video, and I was commenting and explaining some things to these guys in regards to that video that we just watched clips of. And you're going to read these comments and my comments, and this comment of mine is going to come up in a Jackson County Road and Bridge meeting on Tuesday, which the Public Works Director kind of twisted my entire words and tried to say I'm the spokesperson, which I'm not. But again, I apologize for the sound of my voice. I got a cold. But let's look at this Facebook post and read these comments. And you can pause to read as you go through. I'm going to let it play out. And then we'll get into the Tuesday's meeting. Since I was not able to make that Tuesday's meeting, a anonymous person recorded it audio-wise for me. And I'm going to share that right here. So as you can see, Indiana Mike's post there sharing that video of that meeting, all the comments and their concerns about the raising of the taxes and everything. So I gave my opinion as a fellow taxpayer myself on why I think it has nothing to do with the 4%, $1. Mind you, 4% is only $1 more an hour. So I gave my reason why I think they're raising the taxes and where we see some wasteful spending. 2 brand new Colorado pickups. All this GPS crap that the Public Works Director now wants to buy and put in dump trucks and semis. And motor graders already have the capability, Caterpillar and John Deere. So, but the word was they were going to buy a separate system and install in those machines, but I hear some of those things are changing. May not be doing that. I don't know. I need more clarification on what's going on with this GPS crap, but I think it's a wasteful spend. We're wasting money. This road groomer, this dust control crap. There's ways that we could handle this dust control that probably won't cost the county hardly anything. I mean, it's already our responsibility to maintain, take care of the roads, but we can find, why spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on tanks and a special bed to be made to put on trucks, and it's just wasteful spending. Fuel tank systems, putting on new fuel tank system, moving everything around. A lot of us don't agree with, and you're going to hear that in the audio file of Tuesday's meeting, which would have been, I think that would have been August 27th. Again, I was sick, so I did not make it, but there was an anonymous colleague that did audio record it for me and sent me a copy. And we're going to hear that here right now. So let's get into that, because Mr. Public Works Director kind of throws my name under the mud to try to stir up some shit to try to get people pissed off at me for speaking to other taxpayers online, just carrying the conversation back and forth, expressing my personal concerns and sharing their concerns. I'm sharing their concerns. But let's listen to this audio file.
It's gone through the engineering stage, still at the environmental stage, and we have to now get the process going of purchasing easements and things like that. So we'll have appraisers involved and real estate people.
What are we doing over there? What are we doing over there? What is the project over there?
246 in J Bridge, replacing it. We got the federal funding. Is available up to $750,000. Again, that's a long process. We've already been working on it for a year. It'll probably be another year for whatever. It's like up here on T Road out on that one. It's like a 4-year deal to get that one done. The GPS system is something that the commissioners have had us look into. We've purchased nothing. There's 5 units have been sent in here for a 60-day free trial, so that's what we're doing. We'll trial with that as soon as we get set up. Mark Sullivan, I saw him at Walmart the other day, and he complimented the road over here on College, College Road, and commended all the hard work we got to do getting it fixed up. Appreciates it. One other thing here that's not on here is we've got a quite lengthy rumor that's been written in. Just to answer some of the questions, we don't normally announce raises until everything is finalized and, after the meeting there last week. So yes, there is a 4% raise for all employees January 1st. Road rumor, there's some issues brought up about it, about tearing grounds out of the road and things like that. Any piece of equipment can do that. Motor grader. It comes down to operator, In here was brought up that I personally knew people that we bought these Colorado pickups from. I found those on Car Guru. Don't know these people. Just because I got family that lives in Breakdown doesn't mean they're car dealers. And I did check local. Everything here was over $25,000 for anything that was in town. And the trucks, we got one for $15,000, and the other was $16,000. So. learned about building the trucks, about how long we were by doing that. When that decision was made, you could not get trucks for almost 2 years. So that's why the decision was made to rebuild the trucks. The one place we went to just really hosed us over. We didn't know it at that time that it took so long. The other place where we did the semi, they had the thing done in about less than 90 days. The fuel tank issue that we have going on right now, the whole purpose of this is so we would not have to keep tracking our fuel. We would have fuel that's ready to run instead of having to put all this house and treatments and things like that in. We're doing the 2 tanks out here at the shop. We're going to be closing one of those down there at the bridge yard, and we're putting 2 down at the hoist strip. That way the trucks and things don't have to run up here to get fuel, they can get it right there.
How big of tanks are you talking you're putting like at Hoyt?
At work,
Like at Hoyt, how big a
2,000
tank?
gallons.
1 diesel and 1 gas?
No, there'll be 1 diesel, red fuel, and 1 clear fuel.
Why are we doing the red and clear separate?
One's cheaper than the other.
The county doesn't pay taxes on that fuel.
But it's
It
still
shouldn't
much
make
cheaper.
any difference.
It's not the tax, it's the price.
Why can we
The
not
clear fuel-
go with all the dyed fuel then? That's what we used to do. Used to all be dyed fuel, same fuel.
I couldn't tell you, I'd have to check into it.
Well, that needs to be checked into before we
Okay,
decide
we'll
to
do
buy
that.
fuel tanks.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Then the last thing on here.
Them trucks you
brought
can't
up
run
about,
with dyed fuel in them.
people coming in. He says there's 6 folks that are planning on leaving because of money. I assume hopefully that was from last year's stuff, about, we got the 15% raise, actually you guys got more than that. So.
Where'd that come from? I should have said it closer.
Richard Smith, apparently he's taking on the role of the girl spokesperson.
Again, this is a public works director. In my opinion, from the sound of the way he just said, you threw my name out there, that he's just trying to stir shit up. Just trying to stir up shit. Trying to throw my name under the mud to get these guys pissed off at me for speaking out. And if Kefauver can actually understand comprehension, maybe he needs to go back to middle school where you learn or late grade school, where you start to learn comprehension of understanding what you read, he would have seen clearly that my comment, and I'll show a screenshot, was mentioning that I support the previous year's raise of 15% because we were losing people and there were 6 people about to leave on top of the already vacancies. But you can see here, he obviously did not comprehend what he read and was just trying to stir some shit up. And you're going to hear a lot of these guys are not very happy with Mr. Kefauver. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that'd rather him be out the damn door. And I think there's a lot of taxpayers that also want him out the door. He's not very well supported and backed by many road and bridge employees, and nor is he supported and backed by very many people, taxpayers, public. So, but let's get back into this. I just wanted to mention that he's just trying to throw my name in the mud and trying to rub it in, trying to get people pissed off at me. Because Kefauver, did not understand or comprehend what he was reading.
Huh. Didn't know that. Is he here
Again,
today?
this type of stuff, this costs the county a lot of money. Because how we have to address it goes through the attorneys, some of the HR partners, we have to contract through, so this type of stuff costs time and money. So if you guys have issues or hear rumors, door's right here. Come see us. Me, Linda, Bryce, and any of us. I'd much rather address it that way than like this. Because we cannot respond to this on the internet like he does. So, in that same, Terry, you're up.
So what you heard was Mr. Kefauver saying, just me going on Facebook and communicating with other taxpayers, and voicing the fact that It can't be the $1 4% raise that's the reason why they're raising taxes. And I go on to explain some of this wasteful spending that we believe is going on. Me commenting and talking to you other taxpayers is costing the county a lot of money. I wonder if the only thing that's really costing the county a lot of money is the fact they gotta go backtrack and cover their own fucking lies and cover their own ass, and that's costing them money. Because if I was to shut up and not mention the 2 Colorado pickups, the dust control bullshit, the road groomer, and all this other fuel tanks and GPS, you know, that word would never gotten out on how we feel that there's wasteful spending. See, you wouldn't know anything about that wasteful spending if I didn't say something and just communicating with you guys. That's what's costing them money, because they have to backtrack and cover their ass. It ain't got nothing to do with the fact that I'm communicating and just talking to you guys and actually being open and honest and truthful and transparent like our government's supposed to fucking be. But if something sounds kind of fishy when they don't want employees to communicate with other taxpayers. I mean, what's the difference between me, Mr. Kefauver, doing it online, communicating with other taxpayers, rather than me running into them in the store, shaking their hand and telling them mouth to mouth, person to person? What's the difference? There isn't. The only difference is you don't like it.
The health insurance, we're staying with the state employee health plan.
Thank you.
Again. So you can thank your commissioners for that.
Thank you for that, because we've been through the other routes before.
Yes. We'll have the VSP and the Delta Dental also, those will be through a different company. We don't have any rates yet. So as soon as we get those, I'll get it to you guys. I've talked to any of you, I think, who have the vacation accrual that's getting up there where you're going to have to start using it. So if you have any questions, you're one of those people, you can ask me how much you have left. It has to be used by October 26th. Reminder about the county picnic, which is September 14th on the south side of the lake at 1 o'clock. And also we have a new employee handbook. If you look in the table of contents, I've highlighted all of the specific policies that are either new or edited. Most of them have been added because they were required by our insurance. The basics on that. One of the things in the vacation accrual area is if you quit without giving 2 weeks notice, or if you get terminated, you won't get your vacation leave paid out. You get in here, please report it immediately to your supervisor. And no smoking allowed in county vehicles or equipment. Always wear your safety belt. And then I'm going to need you to sign page 53 and 56. I have those printed here that says that you've received the handbook. I'll pass those out. And if you have any questions, then we'll try to answer them as far as the policies in here. And thank you for being kind and patient with me as I learn my new job. Whoops.
Do these have to be signed today? Because I'm gonna need a little bit of time to read all this. Not that I don't trust anybody, but I don't trust anybody.
Read through it.
I would like to have it back by.
I mean, can I have it like till Friday?
No, you can
know?
have it till Tuesday after Labor Day.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Thanks for the extension.
Yeah.
It's almost slow.
You need to read it.
What's the major changes in it besides if you're fired or terminated now, they don't pay the 2 weeks vacation that they used to pay either?
Whatever vacation you have left, they don't pay it out.
Because we lost all our sick time at one time when they pulled that,
So if
and
you
now
give
we're
your-
gonna
if you
lose
give
all our
notice-
vacation.
If you give appropriate notice, you'll still get it paid out.
When you get ready to retire, if you fall over, you get paid out.
30 days. When you retire.
What else is new in there?
Well, there's a youth work policy, a remote work policy, a privately owned motorcycle policy, volunteer and prisoner workers policy. There's some changes to the tobacco and drug and alcohol use policy, on-the-job accident reporting.
It's all highlighted in the index.
Yeah.
And the telephone use,
That falls in the safety area.
we can no longer answer your calls and talk while we're driving.
When,
How are we supposed to use our radio then?
Still gotta reach down and grab the mic and call, get on it.
Pull over.
that pulling over stuff's gonna get somebody killed in a deal, because here's the issues you run into. In the wintertime, something comes up, somebody has a wreck, some road needs to be addressed, somehow they've gotta get hold of that person. And if it's through a phone call, that's the simplest, easiest way, and most of them have radios in the pickups that go to the phone. If you're out pushing the snow off the road, the radio goes, your phone goes through your radio. You can push a button on the steering wheel, talk all day long and not hurt a thing.
Or hands-free
devices. Hands-free devices are the same way. This deal's gone way too far. I would like to know if it was brought to the commissioner's attention about all our concerns.
It's the county insurance, I believe, that required it. Is that right?
I have to look into that.
And
Mary at HR.
then furthermore, I heard that we have to start wearing steel-toed boots. Is there a truth to this matter?
We're looking into that.
Bullshit. It's not gonna work, Dan.
Tell me, do you want to wear them?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. I don't know what to.
And I'll give you some reasons there. They're getting frostbit in the wintertime when we're called in to do jobs. That's one reason. The other reason is getting in and out of this tight equipment up and down. You have to be able to bend your toes without ripping your toenails off. The other thing is the feeling in your track pedals. When you're tracking machines, you have to have that feel of how fast you're going and get stopped. And anybody that wants them needs to put a pair on and get in and out of this equipment, up and down, in and out of it all day long, and see how you like to do it.
I wore steel-toed shoes.
Have you got in and out of that little hoe 10 times a day, in and out of it? I'd like to see that before we go to this policy.
I'm sure there's people in, I'm sure there's people
have to
in.
read through the stuff and decide what we're doing.
Well,
They've automatically just gone overboard.
No, I have not. I addressed this in the shop when I was oil changing with you, and you came out there and talked about it.
I know.
And apparently my address to you, Scott, did not work because the commissioners did not know nothing about that.
No, we do. We were talking, we visited about steel toe, and I believe,
The other thing,
let me finish.
okay.
And Scott's, and back at Scott, what he's saying, we have to look and see what the insurance was saying, but if you guys don't want it, let's talk about it and try to resolve it, okay?
But again, Dan, read the manual, what it says in there about, through these people, not me, not personal, okay? Through this company, they're saying if it's a work area that is possible where you have accidents, it's mandatory that you have to wear it.
Well, I think,
Again, I didn't write this book.
personally,
Give to me just like you.
Personally, I've been in this business since 1992, and I've never had to be forced to wear those kind of boots. And the other reason you got to think about, when there's power line issues in the wintertime, the power lines start going down, they run us around these roads to put barricades up. We're taking a chance on getting electrocuted also. And that's happened in this county before several times.
Okay, let's revisit that. We'll check on the manual and everything with the insurance company. I don't know if they're referring to K-words or, let's look into that.
Read the manual.
I'm not interested in it, and reading that part of it, Scott, because I know self-experience-wise what those steel-toed boots are like to be in. I have ripped a toenail off of my foot going down a slope to check grade on it.
Gotcha. I understand what you're saying.
But there's hundreds of people that have their toes saved also, not just you. So, again,
Something that's been overlooked, I'm sure there's people in here that are diabetic. steel-toe shoes are not diabetic shoes. There's probably guys in here that have a prescription for diabetic shoes. Steel-toe shoes are not diabetic shoes.
Never heard about it.
Well, you need to talk to the doctor about it.
Yes, there is diabetic.
Let's revisit it.
Again, I was getting this just like you're doing.
Well, and I am fine with that, Scott, but we already discussed this, you and I.
You and I.
That's right.
That's not the rest of them.
Well, then that's what we're doing,
Okay.
okay? Because I already told you my thoughts on it.
I have all these together. And I totally agree. I need to wear them too. I got to have to wear them. Is that what you're doing?
We shouldn't have to wear them just because it's put down on paper.
So just throw the handbook away, I guess.
Okay. Good idea.
Good common sense to go along with it.
Anyway. Right.
What the hell is this about?
Those are the signature sheets that you're not gonna sign.
Well, at least you
Well, save your paper, Terry. Oh, what?
The no smoking and equipment stuff, it's not because of what's in the handbook, it's because when we go trade in a machine, they come do an evaluation on it, and if they smell smoke in that cab, it's automatically all new interior and whatever in that cab, and that's $10,000 to $12,000 off of the trade-in value. On that part of it. And besides, I don't like working on cigarette butts and ashes and stuff in the floor of the machine either. No request or Garrett. This newer equipment, the Saney mini hoe, the Cat 2 excavator, what else is there? The John Deere track hoe and stuff. You can go into that information center and change the language settings of what that comes out to. If you're doing that just to be fun, knock it off. Because that is a real pain in the ass to try to read Arabic or something to go back through that and get it back to a English setting. And when you do that, it automatically shuts off all the functions that we've added to it, like running the thumb, auxiliary hydraulics and stuff like that, until you get it back to a language that you can read to reprogram that in there. So I spent an hour and a half, 2 hours with Jay down there one day trying to get the Mini to go back to English setting and get the thumb to work.
Speaking of that, there's another light on in that way. I'll see what it is too. It just happened the other day.
Okay. And the fuel tanks, if you notice, that running into this container is 4 orange cones set up. That's where they want to put the new fuel tank for all the truck fuel that's going to get moved up here. Look at that, drive through it, try not to run over the cones because it's going to be a driving lane on the north and south of the cones. The tank's going to set in the middle of the cones above it.
You can see it's already in the way.
Then, yeah.
It needs to be somewhere else. And it's too close to the building. What are you gonna do with the fire hazard?
It's far enough away from the building for their specs.
Well, but when we pile that rock like we did last year, we can get in the barn now. Where you gonna?
That's why we have cones out there and testing to see what people think.
Well, I didn't have to drive through it, and I can tell you it ain't gonna work.
And another thing to think of, probably when they do this 4-lane, we will lose this gate down here going in and out more than
I don't
likely.
know that.
We don't know that, but I mean, there's a
Good chance.
real
Damn
good
good
chance. So, don't think about it right now today, think about, 2 or 3 years down the road, future-wise. Look at that, but all the truck fuel will be up here, there'll be no truck fuel at the bridge yard, so everything will have to come out here to fuel truck-wise.
When we got a half of them parking there in the wintertime because of the plug-ins and stuff, that just, to me, don't make sense. I don't understand it. And what's the deal with having to have 2 fuels? Because that don't work either. We never had that in the past.
We burnt clear road fuel and equipment for years and just do paperwork and get the tax back off.
Right. And so, is that not a possibility anymore, or?
We'd have to check it.
Well, that putting a color in a tank does not work, and putting a color in a pickup, I don't think the county even has to run that color in that particular vehicle.
Again, I'd have to check into it.
Well, that's stuff that needs to be checked into before we go to that kind of expense.
We will check into it. And actually, there's no expense.
Well, there will be if we're gonna buy all these tanks and put them all
Not buying these
in.
tanks. The company that we're going with is furnishing tanks.
Well, yeah, but somebody's gotta put all that stuff together and put it in.
They do that, they maintain the tanks.
Well, yeah, but it still costs them money,
It's
Scott.
not costing us. All we're paying for is fuel. We're paying for it.
It ain't gonna cost us a dime to have all these tanks put in.
If down the road we decide to buy them, sure. Right now, they own the tanks. They will maintain them. They will maintain the pumps. It's not
But we
costing
got-
the county a dime. All we're doing is buying fuel, they're storing for us in their tanks.
But what you're saying is all the fuel down there at the bridge yard is dyed diesel fuel.
It's the clear, isn't it?
Clear.
Car's clear.
It's all clear.
Yeah, it's all truck fuel right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when this is
Since
done,
I've been here, that's how it's been.
the truck fuel will be out here and that down there will be equipment fuel. It'll be rig fuel down there.
What I said?
And when it's all said and done.
It's dyed. It'll be red fuel.
Down there.
When it's all said and done, I would die down there. Yeah.
So we're gonna have a diesel tank out here and a gas tank out here, or both diesel tanks?
Most diesel.
So what are we gonna do with all the pickups? They're still gonna run to town to get the gas?
Just plug it in.
I'm not seeing what we're gaining by doing that. It's not making sense to me.
It does to me. We're gonna have to have all these trucks run up here and get fuel, and then drive from here down to there through town to get fuel.
We're all going through town anyway, Scott, for the queries and everything else. I mean,
You're not always going through town. Why would I have to go from here through town to go to mid-states or
to take 75 highway?
that's not going through town.
Well, 5 blocks difference. What's 5 blocks?
A lot when you're running trucks every day.
I'm just not understanding it. It's not for me to understand that.
But anyway, look at the cone setup out there, see what you think. Give us your best idea. The concrete's
And
not
again,
poured yet.
suggestions would be nice, not just complaining.
I've made suggestions.
On the fuel barrels?
No, I wasn't asked on the fuel barrels, but I made suggestions. I made suggestions on the steel-toed boots, and that didn't go nowhere.
Well, the rules aren't set up on J, okay? It's set up on the big picture, all right? And again, I had nothing to do with this dang book, all right? It was handed to me just like it's handed to you, except I'm in a position where I have to enforce things if we need to.
You're also in the position to go to battle for us, and when I said a question to you about it,
Right? I talked to him about it, and I was told it's my discretion on who's supposed to wear it. Well, to me, that's no back for anything. That puts everything on my back, because my management team has already said no, that they don't want it. Okay? So, if tomorrow you happen to drop something, or whatever this goes into effect.
I've been doing this since '92, and I've never had an issue.
Tomorrow, you may drop something on your foot and crush the hell out of it. You know, steel toe may have helped you, may not have. I don't know. Every time I was steel toes drop something, it never hit the toe. It was always above it.
I never had no feeling in them toes either.
So, like I said, I didn't put the book together.
I didn't put the book together, and I didn't approve the book.
So,
But I have the right to argue when you're telling me that I've got to wear that particular set of things every day that I work
have not told
to.
you that either.
But you're getting ready to.
I have not said a word. Next.
Go back to the phone thing real quick. They have headsets they sell at truck stops, and that's what they're.
And that's your
for
safety
people-
net.
That's for people to talk to people while they're.
So if you're driving down the road and you see a wreck, you can say dial 911, and you can talk to the operator and explain to them that there's a wreck on the highway and they need somebody out here to shut the highway down.
There's one little button on the side that you push and you get to talk all the time through it. You don't even touch your phone, you don't look at your phone, nothing. You tell you push one button, which is easier than getting your mic and stuff.
All I can do is
I'm just
go back to the
saying, I'm just saying, when
commissioners.
you do go to them, then you can bring that up as well.
All I can do is go back to commissioners, because again, This was correspondence to the insurance.
Video always picks up. Everybody thinks I'm talking.
Once again, we got a long weekend. Is everybody on the on-call list gonna be in town? Yes, no,
Who got out of town for the weekend? Anybody
What's the call list?
on the call list? What? No. Okay. I'm just gonna put down all in town, and then it's. Alright. So we've got Q Road, College Road complete. Looks fabulous. Thank you very much for everybody's hard work. We did have each and every one of you hauling rock, rolling, hauling water, hauling dirt. It was great. It looks fabulous. 262 from the new highway to Q Road is done. That looks great as well. Communication. Say something, don't assume it. You've got a piece broken in your truck, your grader, your radio's not working. Say something, please. Don't just assume that the light come on, send an email to Bryson and he knows. So make sure you do communicate. Check your folders back here, see if you've got any of these completed that you've already taken care of. And of course, continue to do your minimum maintenance road. It is hay season and harvest season. Alex from Ham's Quarry come and see me Friday and told me that this year, and of course we're just into August, and they have been shut down for how long now because they haven't had any rock. We have hauled 70,000 tons of rock alone out of there. I just thought that was quite a number, and you should all know that. That's a lot of rock to come out of one place. Safety vests, wear them when you're out of your piece of equipment. I'm not forcing anybody to wear them while they're in their equipment, by no means. Wear your seatbelts when you're operating equipment. And does everybody have a fire extinguisher in every piece of equipment, or do I need to give any to anybody? And if I do, why, let me know. That's about all I got today.
So with this pay raise, how's this gonna affect our tier system? Are we still gonna get our extra money that?
It just gets added, like if you're at $25 top of the tier, it's gonna go to 25, whatever you're making now will have 4% added to it.
Plus, when we get trained up,
Yeah.
like me, I'm still owed 50 cents
The whole thing.
to be at the top of my tier. Does that still come with that?
Everything will bump up to 4%. Dan, you got anything?
Oh, I'd just like to say thanks for those of you that attended the revenue neutral meeting last Thursday. Some of you have been hearing a whole lot of different rumors going around. The mill levy in the county is going from 72.45 to 72.5. On a $125,000 house, that's going up 72 cents a year. Commercial, about double that. So just some information I'd like to squelch that people are creating problems. We had one person at the meeting that said, well, my taxes have been going up for the last several years. So we checked that person's taxes yesterday, and I went to see her. Okay. And the county portion of the tax has actually gone down. And I showed this to her, which is good.
Oh, wow.
She appreciated that. Now, there are other factors that are could affect your taxes. There's cemetery boards, fire boards, schools and cities all over. If their bills are coming up, then your taxes may be going up. But in some cases, taxes are going down. A friend of mine owns property up north of here and also owns a building downtown Holton. His ag went down, but his commercial went up. We're mandated by the state of Kansas to have to follow certain guidelines on our taxes. So we're trying to get tax relief. A bill will be going into Congress, the United States Congress, sometime within the next year, trying to receive money that we have lost on the reservation out here. That by law, they're able to do that. And, you know, they're doing it off the reservation too. I met with the chairman about 2 weeks ago today. We had lunch, and I reached out and I said, how can we work together instead of butting heads? So we're working on that. But there are things that we need help from the Congress, we also from the state of Kansas, and we're working on some other projects too. So bear with us. If you have questions, please reach out. But if it's related here, reach out to your supervisors, and then we'll address what you talked about, and we'll see about the thoughts on that. Because it looks unanimous, but we'll get together and try to resolve some of these issues to make things more comfortable and workable.
What was you just saying on your valued home again? Go over that one more time, because I thought that was interesting. How many $1,000 house?
$125,000 house is going up from a county standpoint 72 cents a year, from 72.45, which is 1/2 of 1%, and commercial is double, and ag is a little bit somewhere in between. So along those lines.
Okay.
It's not much.
So this 4% raise, everybody's pissed off about saying that that's why the taxes went up. The county had money for that before this was even budgeted in, wasn't it?
Not for this next year, but the assessments, the amount of money the county's going to receive on assessments will cover it.
Yeah, so.
It's covered.
Yeah, they're not even.
Some will go up, some will go down. You know, every instance is different, but you've got some of those, quite frankly, there are a group of folks that are out there who don't want government involved in their life. So how are we going to fix their roads? How are we going to mow their right-of-ways? How are we going to have fire protection? They also belong to cemeteries and schools. They don't want to pay that tax. They don't want to deal with it. So that's what we hear all the time. But what other society do you want to live in?
Right.
You know. So bear in mind, the squeaky wheel does get the grease in some situations. But some of them are kind of settling down because there's innuendos, rumors, whatever you want to call it. Those situations are out there. And I will tell you, I'm a broadcaster by trade. Electronic media I love, but some of this Facebook stuff, these other programs, there's no accountability. I can say whatever I want, and it doesn't necessarily true, and how do you make that person accountable? Some of those social media people that are complaining about Jackson County don't even live in Jackson County. You go look them up. They live in other states. So I told a lady the other day, I don't care what someone from Timbuktu, Arkansas thinks about Jackson County. And we hear also and see, well, I lived in Jackson County once, Holton, I got out of that town and that's county because those cops are on me all the time. Well, probably for a reason. So, I'll leave it to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I work in a town with a low mill levy. And you're out there to fend for yourself. You don't have anything out there.
Right.
You want a lower mill levy, you're gonna need to buy equipment. You're gonna need to buy equipment.
Yeah, I do. Okay, signed out work for other people, signed out contractors. So basically like a chip and seal.
Yeah.
All right, how do we know that they did that right?
They did.
Whoever said that?
They did. 254 is a rough son of a bitch.
Well, I mean,
Chip and seal does not smooth out the road. Chip and seal seals the road.
But I don't think you're talking about roughness of it, I think you're talking about, what do you guys call it?
how much oil they put down, if they put down the right amount of oil? I mean, who's out there to make sure they do it right?
guess you're volunteering for next year?
They've done it 2 years in a row, ain't there, or 3 years?
As far as I know, yeah.
And nobody's checked on them for 3 years?
It's in the contract what we're supposed to be doing. So much oil per square foot, so much rock per square foot, or square yard.
Well, are you in that position to be making sure that they're doing it right?
I guess I'll have to go do that, John.
Well, like I said, the state has somebody out there to check to make sure that they're doing it
Not
right.
state, we're doing it. Yes, you feel that needs to be done, we'll do that.
Well, like I said, they're out there at 254, right there in the middle of the road, you can see no hole to put it in. Out there by Hess.
Okay, so you want somebody here to just go track down everything they're doing.
That's what the state does. I mean,
Need to add that in our budget, man.
Wait a minute, just to go sit out there and watch them and just kind of say, oh, wow.
Who's
look,
gonna do that? Who's got time to do that?
Well, you guys don't make time to go watch over jobs?
like I said, we had the equipment to do it ourselves, but that went away.
I know, because we didn't have manpower to do the job. At that time, we were short like 6 people and couldn't get them hired, couldn't get nobody hired. The equipment was wore out, was all we were working on. Anything else?
Just a little piece of information for you guys when you revisit all this policy stuff. Try reaching out to KDOT. They have a boot policy, a worksheet policy, and it's written in their policy about when exposed to overhead and falling hazards, they may or may not require the safety toe, not necessarily steel toe, but a safety toe workshoe or boot. But basically, what they have in their policy is an angle higher leather work boot or work shoe. That's what's required for equipment operators in general.
Okay.
And I would reach out to them, and then if you want to kind of see what your argument is against this insurance company. I don't know who the insurance company is, I don't really give a shit, but I'm sure KDOT's lawyers are better lawyers, and they're the ones that came up with it.
Ours is through K-Camp, so that's our insurance. I do appreciate that.
Might kind of help you.
Okay.
Might not.
Like I said, if you read the manual, which Jason I'm going to, but if you read the manual, it has stipulations in there about being in the work zone when there's things fall like in the shop out here. It's mandatory, but again, unless y'all sign a waiver and say if you smash your toe, the county's free for it.
And part of that goes back to they actually have a group of safety folks that have to do a job site analysis to determine what's a hazard, what's not a hazard, what's required, what's not required.
And Brandon Mann.
Don't ask me how I know that shit.
Brandon Mann comes through and does a walkthrough of our shop, every year at least. And, there's been things that have been written up here for multiple years and he just kind of gave up on it because nothing really got fixed. But now they've been fixed. Seems like every time that, OSHA has a problem somewhere, then all of a sudden it's a K-Camp problem too, and that's what they're out there for.
I think that's why that agency I mentioned hired their own staff.
OSHA obviously doesn't have trouble hiring employees. They're setting the rules, but if you lose 30 people, what are you gonna do? You know?
I know it's 30 people.
Enforces the rule on government people, and Kansas is the Department of Labor, they have to enforce that rule. Because Kansas Department of Labor is actually government on that over us.
What were you saying?
He was talking about OSHA.
Yeah.
Kansas Department of Labor is who governs and inspects all government entities and hospitals and schools in the state of Kansas, and they have to enforce OSHA rules. But ultimately, it's the Kansas Department of Labor is who we go through. In fact, these call Alan Brenner with them if he's still there. He's the one who wrote the original policy to state on.
What's his name?
Alan Vineyard. Don't tell him you know me.
Probably the end of the fund.
Okay, anything else?
Well, with the cat blades and the John Deere blades already having GPS capability, why are we spending the time and the money to fool with GPS?
We haven't spent any money on.
But we're probably looking at that.
And they've already contacted us and said that they would be hooking up through John Deere Link and Cat, whatever theirs is, Cat Link or whatever. And so there is no.
So why worry about the truck?
Because that's what I was asked. The GPS and these systems.
To me, it's micromanaging.
You're talking to the wrong person. I've fought GPS since I've been in here.
Who do we need to talk to about this? Do we need to have a commissioner meeting about it? I just think that's a lot of wasted money down the drain when people's hollering about the money being wasted now. And the fuel tanks, I'm in the same deal with the fuel tanks. What's wrong with the setup that we have now? You know, it's all right to change contractors and get a different person in there to bring us fuel that's better. I'll agree with that for all the problem we had last year. But what's wrong with having the fuel tanks just the way they are? I mean, we brought this one out here and put it up just so they had fuel out here, access to fuel out here. But you're back to my point. You're only driving 5 blocks at the most to change.
Over a year's time, that adds up.
Well, and so don't waiting in line out here when there's no room for them. Because there's going to be no room for them. The time you start bringing all these trucks in here to park in the new building like we've been doing, you're gonna be waiting in line for fuel. I don't care how you go about it, whether you do it at night or in the morning. Huh?
I've seen you guys pile up 3.
That's my point, Scott. They're sitting there getting fuel, and they're gonna be waiting in line out here just as much as they are in there. It's not gonna change.
Radio say, hey, I'm gonna get fuel, and they, okay, I'm gonna come in 10 minutes late.
We can't get on radio.
I didn't. Well, that's another point. That's a good point, actually. But if we're not allowed to have our headset that we can plug in or turn on by pushing a button on our steering wheel for our phones to activate them without even touching them, Dan, then how are we supposed to reach down and grab that mic or fumble around for that mic and be going down the road with it? You know, to me, that phone is a hell of a lot safer and it's a hell of a lot more accurate because I can call Scott and say, hey, was you at this road? We need to get over there. We got an accident going on. We need some salt put down.
Sometimes them radios fail.
A lot of times. The ones at the bridge yard right now when we're checking in, we can't use half the time because you can hear it hitting that repeater. And Linda's a prime example of that. She came in to check us out one day to check the radio. And she couldn't even get it checked out in there on that radio. And that, since Bryson's worked on it, but since it's been acting up again. All I'm saying is that there's more than one way to solve this problem.
I know. So I guess the best way is if Dan would reach out to this K camp or whoever put this book out and have them come up here and defend because again, I was handed this book just like you were.
I understand that.
I did not write the book. I did not make the book.
I already said I understood that. Okay. But you're not in our position out there plowing snow off the road in the winter time.
But I'm telling you, I spent 35 years of my life in that shit.
You three would all come up here, just have a meeting with us, because we're not meeting anywhere this morning. I like that idea. We're not meeting anywhere. We're just getting taken off, but it's right turn.
There's some things that are going on with GPS, it's just an investigation basically right now. I'm not saying I'm for it, or I'm not saying I'm against it, so let's just say that. It's just an investigation that's going on. The cost analysis benefit of moving the tanks, the fuel out here was looked at over the course of, Scott said, over the course of a year, we feel we'll save money by going this direction.
You absolutely won't.
Well,
it's actually going to cost more because you're going to be buying different grades of fuel. You're going to be out here trying to utilize your new building, and that's going to be in the way. I mean, what the system we got now has worked for years, and it's working good.
So you're saying if you could save $40,000 a year, you wouldn't If it was your business.
Well, I'm not thinking that you're saving 40,000 a year by putting in a bunch of tanks and then taking the chance on them people selling you the tanks or them people rejecting your. Right, but what's this, how are they paying for that? They're raising their price every year. They're doing something to pay for all that. They're not just going out there setting them up for anything, Scott.
It's all in contract.
Yeah, but
We don't
next
own
year
the
it'll go up.
We have the option to buy them if we want.
Right now, we don't have to mess with any of that. We've got
Where are we
what
losing
we've got.
$40,000?
Huh?
Where are we losing $40,000?
Your time and labor running back and forth from Floyd up to here to get fuel.
I
can see Boyd. I already said that.
Put tanks in down at Floyd, but we're not gonna save $40,000 driving from here to where we're at now.
If we get everything working correctly, then it's the same way with the GPS system, it's the same way with the fuel system. This will save Tara time. It will all go ahead and enter this into her computer system so we can get everything linked up together, and then she won't have to do the time cards. And plus
Well, wait a minute. What's the fuel got to do with the time cards?
Okay.
Because there's a
I'm
separate
just saying
sheet.
that all this is gonna save Tara time.
Well, I think that, we used to have 2 people in that office in there.
I know
And
that.
now we're down to 1.
I know that.
So if we're worried about saving her time, find her some help in there.
That doesn't save you money though.
Okay, so that's a meal.
That does save you money in the long run. In the long run, all this extra added expense. I'm seeing nothing but added expense in what I'm
I think the
seeing.
main thing's over with.
You go do your own research then and let us know. Stuff we come up with, if we go to this GPS system, we're not only using the GPS, but instead of filling out your time card by hand, it'd be on a tablet. You type it in.
See, there you go. Now we gotta buy tablets for everybody, or we gotta get to the tablet destination. We've already went through this. It did not work.
Okay, how many years ago?
Yeah.
There's lots of
Just a
things
couple.
going. There's
Just a
lots of
couple
things
when we
going.
bought tablets for
That's how we've
everybody.
always done it. We don't want to change nothing. Years ago, you didn't have phones, but I got, everybody's got one now.
So are these gonna be tablets or are they gonna be?
We don't know yet, it's too
We
early.
don't know yet. It's a wasted expense in my view.
Someone's still gotta enter that information in, regardless.
You're doing it anyway, on a piece of paper, and then you're turning it into her, and she's doubling up for it and putting it in.
We're not supposed to.
Scan it. Find something to scan
On
it.
our fucking phones, but we can drive a tablet?
While you're driving. Do you fill your time card out when you're driving down the road?
No.
Okay.
Ain't
When you
got time to pull over.
do this or do this, what's the difference?
That ticket handwritten is valid. That tablet screws up, now we got, oh shit, now what do we do? The internet don't work, now what do we do?
So we're gonna have to put our rock tickets in there as well, like in that tab.
We don't
didn't have
know
the
yet,
ultimate
it's too
goal.
early to tell.
We don't know. I mean, that's what you're looking at, for,
Right
though.
now-
I'm just saying,
right
that's the
now-
ultimate goal, the ending goal is to have everything in there.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
And then she won't have to go in the computer and pull it off of her tab.
I would think some kind of scanner that scans the rock tickets or scans the time cards or something like that would be more feasible than the way you're going here. Because you're getting this GPS and this.
That scan ain't gonna pick up however one of you drive.
Or where you're at, or what truck you're driving, or what mileage there is. I mean, there's a little more added in than just, I got the tonnage on the rock. There's more to it as far as.
And this computer's gonna do all that too.
We don't know yet,
We
they
don't
haven't
know
tried
yet.
it.
That's what we're trying to get at, Jay. That's the ultimate goal.
Buckeye at one time didn't have a voice rock, you guys.
Yes.
Or, you know.
That's where I sign up.
I need to down.
Yes.
So, as you heard that meeting, I believe again that meeting was Tuesday morning, August 27th, if I remember correctly, of 2024 at the Road and Bridge Department in the public lobby of a public building. But I made some notes through that audio meeting because since I wasn't there, I didn't hear what was all discussed. But they verified some things of my recent Facebook comments of talking to some of you guys, like Indiana Mike, Rowdy Meyer, when we were having our conversation about some of the wasteful spending. Some GPS systems are being looked into. Isn't that interesting? So that wasn't a lie. So why are they worried about my comments on Facebook? My comments wasn't a lie. They verified 2 pickups that they bought. They verified the fuel tank system that we all, as you heard, disagree with. The GPS systems that we all disagree with. And this all boils down to micromanagement. I'm going to guarantee you it boils down to micromanagement for Scott Kefauver to see who's coming in and out getting fuel and when. And the GPS system so they can track you, know where you're at, what you're doing. How many miles of roads are you getting done today? Instead of just, driving out there and putting eyes on you, they'd rather just sit behind a computer in the desk to track you. And speaking of the GPS system, there's going to have to be a computer system to optimize that GPS system. That's going to have to cost money. And then I hear something that I did not hear about. Something new I learned through this meeting is tablets. We're going to go to tablets. Everybody's going to get tablets. How much money is all this really going to cost? We didn't even discuss the dust control issues and the road groomer that nobody wants on their road. I mean, it's just wasteful spending. Wasteful. And yet my comments talking to you guys, sharing what I'm hearing, is costing the county money? No. This bullshit is costing the county money. Scott Kefauver is costing the county money. Like I said, there's a lot of taxpayers and there's a lot of us employees that don't like Kefauver and we think he needs to be out the door. And if I had any suggestion, and if I make a suggestion to the commissioners, fire Kefauver, kick his ass out the fucking door, and let's put Linda Jackson in his position. I will support that 100%. You want me to stop making these videos on Jackson County, you want me to stop exposing you, then get rid of Kefauver. He's the biggest problem. I don't know how many times you commissioners have gotten phone calls by other employees about Kefauver. I've never called you guys and complained. But others have. And you're not taking us serious. And it's pretty sad you don't take us serious, so I have to do videos like this. Not once in 5 years has any commissioner called me up on my phone and say, hey, what's going on? Not once in 5 years that I've been with the county, not one commissioner has knocked on my door, well, with the exception of Dan Brenner for one time, knocked on my door and said, hey, what's the issues? And okay, well, we'll look into that. But when I call a commissioner and I'm being told by Kefauver, and I have it on video, and I'm being told by Kefauver that Dan Brenner went to him and said, well, Richard Smith's at it again. Well, that's going to discourage me to reach out to my commissioners. That's going to discourage me to reach out to Kefauver because you guys don't take us serious. So since you don't want to take us serious, when we come to you personally like you want us to, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use my platform. I'm going to use my free speech. I'm going to use my independent journalist skills, and I'm going to platform and let everybody know across this goddamn United States of America of what my county is doing. What the taxpayers have to put up with. It's pretty sad. You guys sit there and claim you want us to come to you with these issues and with problems, but yet you blow it off like it's nothing. You heard Scott Kefauver in that meeting when people were addressing their opinions and frustrations on what's going on. Kefauver just wanted to argue. Kefauver only wanted to argue. He didn't give a crap about their concerns. It just is, as if you don't agree with Kefauver, he's not going to support you. He's going to argue till he's blue in the face. Kefauver is not a team leader. Kefauver needs to go. And as I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, my opinions, my comments are of my own. These are all my personal opinions. These are all my personal thoughts. And these are all the things that I've heard and witnessed. And obviously, the county confirmed everything I said. So they can't sit there and say I lied. I told you all the truth and 100% truth. They're the ones that hid it. They're the ones that basically, well, they didn't lie because they just neglected to mention it. This is the kind of shit that pisses me off because our government's supposed to be open, honest, transparent. And I didn't know that they're going to add tablets to this price list of all this GPS system. It's all about micromanagement. The fuel tank systems, it's a waste of money. GPS systems, waste of money. The tablet systems, in some aspects, I think it's going to be a waste of money. When you get out here in the middle of nowhere, you ain't even got cell phone service. What good is a tablet going to do to you? I think there's better ways we can come across this. I think there's better ways we can save this county money. And I think we can do better by our taxpayers by doing something different. But step number one, get rid of Kefauver. Step number one, fire Kefauver. Get him out the door. You want to start the improvement? You want to build morality back in Road and Bridge and with the taxpayers? Fire Kefauver. With that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. And may the sun shine upon you. Beautiful skies and breeze for all the hard-working Americans out there. With that said, stay safe. God bless. And always, always stand up for your rights. Because if you don't, nobody else will.